nice in 3D. We are class bourgeoisie.
That was great, Dane. He's a fucking awesome DJ. He's out of LA. One of the founders of Team Supreme. They're this DJ collective that's in LA, New York. I don't know what this project's entitled. I think he just put a teaser on his Instagram. So I was like, damn, this shit's hot. I'm going to pull it. So let's get right to the news of the day. I really wanted to start a podcast because I really don't hear anyone who is like me or sounds like any of my friends in the podcast marketplace. And I love a lot of podcasts. I'm a huge podcast consumer. But I'm so fucking sick and tired of hearing these females on podcasts give advice and not really have much life experience to back it up. I love Call Her Daddy, but Alexandra Cooper does not have that much life experience. A lot of other people in the podcast market don't have a lot of life experience. So when they're talking to females, they're coming from a standpoint where they're just making up shit and they're just commenting on shit. And when I was in my early 20s, I never had anyone give me the real. I had like one or two older friends who were like, I'm going to tell you the truth. This is what the fuck is going on in my relationship. This is what's going on in my life. And they gave me the real until they had kids or something or got married. And then it was just like, yeah, everything's perfect. That's not the way the real world works. And I think it's really important to talk about, as a female, talk about all sorts of shit. Now, I work in the music industry. I work in the live event space, and that's my love. That's my passion. So there's going to be a lot of music talk on here, but I listen to and I follow everything, and everything someone my age should follow. I'm 29 years old, and I just feel like I'm going to put my voice out there. I'll put my voice in the mix and let's see what happens. So let's go. The first topic is OnlyFans. I know what you're saying. OnlyFans, why are you talking about sex as your first thing? It's because Bella Thorne is fucking up the market right now. And I find what she's doing really translatable to all the shit that's going on in music. So Bella Thorne, if you don't know, used to be a Disney star turned bad girl like every other fucking Disney star, whether it's Britney, whether it's Christina Aguilera, whether it's whoever. Like, there's so many, she ain't new about this shit. So I'm 29 years old. I don't have that much respect for Bella Thorne. Also, take a look at her Instagram page. I'm going to take a look right now because I really don't like this chick. Never met her, so maybe I would like her if I met her. But the first thing I see when I look at her Instagram page is this girl looks, one, her photos are photoshopped. Two, she looks insecure as fuck. And three, I hate young chicks giving advice, because when I was young, I used to listen to people like this and be like, oh, I'm going to listen to Christina Aguilera and Jessica Simpson and all these people, and their advice is everything. Look, these people are in entertainment. Their whole thing is, they're getting constant dopamine by attention. They post something, they get 1 million likes, and then they decide that makes them an expert on everything in the world, and it doesn't. If you read Malcolm Gladwell's book, I forgot which one, but maybe it's his book or maybe it's another book I'm referencing, but it was really interesting because he talks about exceptionalism and how you can't be, like, if you're an athlete, the reason a lot of athletes are not great at finance is because they're athletes. They study their whole life. They've trained their whole life to be good at one thing. You know, if you're a football player, you're a quarterback, you're really good at throwing balls. But you may not be good at other shit in your life. That's why a lot of these players end up with kind of trash ass women, because they don't know they haven't had like the experience dating quality women or figuring out what they want. So they end up with basketball wives and crazy chicks like that. That's just to say that just because Bella Thorne may have been successful as a Disney child, and she may have a semi-burgeoning music career, it doesn't mean that she is qualified in other aspects of her life. That means she doesn't have her shit together in other aspects of her life. And no judgment there, because I'm the same way. Like, I'm really passionate about music, and I'm really passionate about my professional career, and I've dedicated a lot of time and effort to my professional career. And when I started dating, which was later on in life, I like was really focused on just like getting it and being really good at what I did and making a career for myself. I made a lot of fucking mistakes because I was a noob when it came to dating. So I didn't really know what to look for, what to see as red flags. And it was a really hard process to go through, but I went through it and I'm better for it. So I don't want to get all deep on the first podcast, but this really irritated me when she's with OnlyFans, because her whole thing with OnlyFans was like, I'm joining OnlyFans to basically make it easier for sex workers to talk about OnlyFans. It's like, I actually follow people on OnlyFans. Like, shout out to Trisha Paytas, shout out to Lena the Plug, Lana Rhodes, and there's a ton of very successful women who or expose their sexuality and are very comfortable with it. And I love women who are really comfortable with their sexuality. And I don't need fucking 23-year-old Bella Thorne to validate all these women who have paved the way. Like, we're in new times, honey. Like, a lot of people do porn. A lot of people are on OnlyFans. A lot of people monetize their looks. It's a part of who you are. It's just like a male who's monetizing his looks, like Safari. Shout out to Safari. And I think she really pissed off she really pissed off the community, the OnlyFans community, because what happened, I'm not going to get into like the whole details about it, but what happened is basically she scammed people on OnlyFans, allegedly. So she basically said that pay me $200 and you'll see like a topless picture of me. And it was a picture of her with a bikini on or something. It's like something you can see on her Instagram. And people requested refunds on OnlyFans. And there were so many refunds at $200 that OnlyFans couldn't keep up with it. They probably had to take out a loan, and they probably had to, figure it out. And so they reduced the cap, I believe, of what you could ask, like for the tips, and also what you could ask for money, something like that. I may be fucking that up, but whatever. And it's a direct result of celebrities like Bella Thorne who have skewed the market. And also scammed people. Like, it's a scam. If you say you're going to do something, you should do it. And why would you? And the most hilarious part of it is, like, even on her Instagram, she says, there's this post where I'm sure she's going to take it down. But she was like, thank you, paper. I'm excited to talk about the politics behind female body shaming and sex with the amazing director, Sean Baker, who I'm proud to call my friend. Okay, so Sean Baker put out the statement and said he's not part of Bella Thorne's OnlyFans project and that she basically lied about it. My read on the situation is I don't think she probably lied about it. I think what happened is they probably talked about it. And she thought that he was like, yeah, that sounds like a really interesting idea. We could probably make a movie out of it if you went and did it. And she took that and ran with it. But the thing about making a movie is you got to get funding, you got to get backers, you got to get distribution. And just because you're a filmmaker doesn't mean you have the backing to make a film like that. You could say, hey, that's of interest to me, but it's like, okay, well, X, Y, and Z, where is all your other shit? So yeah, I don't know. Bella Thorne, like, go get some therapy, girl. Like, stop giving advice. If I could say anything to these young influencers, like, dude, stop giving people advice. You're not a therapist. You're in entertainment. It doesn't make you better than anyone else. It just means that you're constantly getting dopamine. I don't even know if I'm saying that correctly. Dopamine. And yeah, you're a famous person. Whoop-de-doo. Okay. Get some skills. Sorry, that may be harsh, but learn how the world works and stop trying to be a champion for people. It's one thing that fucking irritated me about Miley Cyrus for so long, too, is when she was younger, and you see, like in the most recent Call Her Daddy episode, she's totally different, and I really like this new Miley Cyrus. But the old Miley Cyrus, who was like, yeah, I'm for this, I'm for that, like, I'm for smoking weed, I'm for being open. And it's like, girl, there have been people who have really braved the way and done shit. Like, you're not opening doors for anyone with your antics. And no one believes the whole, again, another Disney star who is like, I want to be out there. It sounds like one thing that's different about Miley is she did have a 10-year relationship. And it sounds like she's really centered herself since, and she's really tried to figure out what her purpose in life is. And it doesn't sound like she's out there just telling people, do this, do that. Like, I don't know. I really can't stand girls in their early 20s just giving advice. On the other hand, I also can't stand people who are older giving advice. I'm not going to go to Oprah on day one of my first episode, but I have gone to multiple Super Soul sessions of Oprah's, and I went to her 2020 Vision tour. My mom is obsessed with Oprah, and I love a lot of things about Oprah, but Oprah, again, is someone who is very successful in one aspect of her life, and you can see that she struggles with a lot of things. Like the last time I saw her I think this was like January or February or something, when she did the 2020 tour. And it was really telling to me because she said multiple times, she was like, well, yeah, I'm rich. I'm a billionaire. Like, this is my house. Like, I have this amazing house and I have multiple houses and all this and that. And I think she is trying to reconcile who she has been and is with being that relatable person that we all watched on TV. Because I used to watch Oprah all the time when I was growing up. Never watched Ellen. Didn't really relate to her. Didn't really think she was authentic. But Oprah definitely was. And I think she just outgrew that. Like, she didn't end up having kids, which, no shade. I'm not, planning to have kids. And actually, that's not true. I want to adopt, but I don't have like this desire to have kids. And Oprah also is like, she's been with Stedman for forever, but it's like, you don't know what that relationship is like. You don't really know about her friendships. And when celebrities give advice, it's hard to take them seriously. And that is one reason why, and I think Joe Rogan talks about this recently, he he talked about this recently, and he basically was talking about how people don't take celebrities seriously when they talk about politics, because all they're doing it for is attention. And they're, in the acting community, they covered up Harvey Weinstein's shit for years and years and years. And then every single fucking award show was pointing the finger at people and saying, well, look at y'all, and you're not supporting climate change, and you're not voting for the right people, and this, that, and the other. And in their midst, there were multiple terrible people who were doing terrible things. It is so much harder. In my life experience, it is so much harder to make a difference in your immediate life. And it's so easy to point the finger at some arbitrary person and say, like, you're living your life wrong. Like, for instance, if you have someone, in your family is, sexually harassing people, or someone in your friend circle who, is just not a good dude or not a good female. Like, I've had female friends that I've had to cut off because so I had this particular female friend, gorgeous girl, but she used to do this thing where she would date a guy and then get bored, break up with him, and then as soon as he started dating someone else, she would come back in the picture. So she was like the perpetual side chick. And I fucking could not stand that, because at that point in time, I think when we had been friends for a long time, but when I started first being friends with her, I didn't see it necessarily as, I could kind of separate who she was as a person from the fact that she did these things that I thought were terrible, because she wasn't doing it to me. But then when I was cheated on multiple times, I realized that it was, what's my friend? When I was cheated on multiple times, I took it personally. I was like, I know how that girlfriend's gonna feel when she finds out. And I cut off the relationship with her. And this is someone I still dearly love to today, but I can't have that shit in my life. And that's what I mean. It's so hard. It's so easy to like point at other girls and be like, oh, look at that hoe, and I would never fuck with a chick who is, the side chick or is doing that to other girls. But then you have girls in your vicinity who are the side chick. I've had friends who cheat on their boyfriends and are very open about it. And it's fucked up some guys that I know. And so I just don't deal with that shit in my life. But it takes time. That's why I'm telling you, 21-year-olds, like, it takes a lot of time and a lot of self-realization to come to the point where you're actually able to make the change in your close circle instead of pointing the finger out and being like, I would never fuck with that shit. So that's all I'm saying. I don't even know how we got on this trail, but I'm gonna circle it back to Bella Thorne and just say, dude, get the fuck off OnlyFans. Like, if you're not gonna show it, if you're gonna promise it, deliver it. Otherwise, don't do it. And if you don't feel comfortable doing it, don't do it. But don't pretend to be a sex worker. Don't pretend to be something you're not. And all I see when I look at her is pretense. Is like the new Miley Cyrus, or sorry, not Miley Cyrus, new Lindsay Lohan. And I truly believe, following Lindsay Lohan's career, the reason that she just was always seen as a mess, and she doesn't have like a huge fan base. She's more known for her infamy. She doesn't have like a huge fan base who's like in love with Lindsay, and really cares deeply about her the way that Miley's fans do, is because she's just inauthentic. Like, everything about her is inauthentic, and you can tell that she doesn't know who she is. So it's kind of like, girl, figure out who you are. You were an amazing actress, and you had this talent, but you just, you kind of fucked it away. It's just like Britney. Britney has so many people who love her, Britney Spears. And it's because we've seen her go through her ups and downs, but it's never felt inauthentic, except when the label kind of made her feel inauthentic through her music videos. So that's kind of like to wrap up OnlyFans. And shout out to all the creators on OnlyFans who are doing it and making a good fucking living off of it. It is hard times now during coronavirus, and you don't want to deal with that. You know, like you're literally, people are paying their bills on OnlyFans. So you celebrities, just get the fuck out. Okay?